Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k. We've got another question from our Discord today, so let's get straight into it. So this question is from Suriade, hope I pronounced that correctly, but what is the maximum number of HQs I can take in the Arks of Omen detachment? Is it 3 or 1 compulsory plus 3 as optional max? Battlescribe seems to let me take 4, but I want to make sure it's legal since the detachment doesn't seem to let you. So let's get on to your question. There's actually two ways to answer this. First for the generic game and second for Necron players, because this is the Necron channel after all. So let's answer your question for the generic game to begin. So the simple answer here is you get your 1 compulsory option as your HQ and you've got 3 more as optionals for the Arks of Omen detachment. That's for standard armies. In fact, you can get more depending on if you can take a patrol detachment alongside it with an allied force. Necrons can't do that, but some other factions can actually take a patrol detachment, which will allow for some more HQs. Now, as far as Necrons are concerned, the actual answer is 8. So let me get on to how we get to 8 HQs within a single list. So this is how. So first of all, you need a noble. That's the trick here. You need a noble, well, it doesn't have to be a HQ, but you need a noble within your list in order to do this. Now, that noble will take up a HQ slot if you're taking an overlord or a lord, but you don't have to take up a HQ slot with a noble because you could use the Silent King, which is of course a Lord of War model, not a HQ, but he still has that noble keyword, which is the most important part here. What you then need to do is select one of the cryptechs within the list. There's 4 cryptech models that have got the Dynastic Advisor's ability. You've got the Plasmancer, the Technomancer, the Psychomancer, and the Chronomancer. All 4 of those options have the Dynastic Advisor's ability. So what is the Dynastic Advisor's ability, you ask? So if your army is Battleforged, which it will be, then for each cryptech unit, excluding dynastic agents, so that won't include Elim Nazares or Orican the Diviner, for example, just the 4 we've mentioned. So if they're included in a detachment, and you include at least 1 noble unit in your detachment, so that could be the Silent King, then a second cryptech unit, again excluding dynastic agents, can be included in your detachment without taking up an additional battlefield role slot. So what does that mean? What that means is you can take 4 cryptech models, because you've got 1 as your compulsory option and 3 as your optional options. That will make 4. So you've got 4 cryptechs, and for every cryptech, you can take an additional cryptech. So that will make you have 8 cryptechs in total, as long as you've got the Silent King within your list, who is an HQ of course, because he's a Lord of War model. Now you do need to bear in mind that there is a rule of 3 if you are playing competitively. In the Arks of Omen chapter approved book, there is the rule of 3. So if you're playing a strike force game, you can take a maximum of 3 units with the same data sheet. So you can take, say, 3 Technomancers, for example. You cannot take a 4th Technomancer and have it be legal. And if you are playing a 1000 point game, so an incursion game, this goes down to 2. So this excludes troop options and it also excludes dedicated transports, whatever you can fit into your detachment. But for cryptechs, their HQs, there is a limit on them. You can only take a maximum of 3. So you could take, say, 3 Technomancers, 3 Chronomancers and a couple of Plasmancers all within the same list alongside your noble Silent King. That will be completely legal. But if you didn't take the Silent King and instead you took, say, a Necron Overlord, that will in fact take away 2 of your cryptech models. One that's going to be one of your optional options for the HQs, and then of course you're losing the second one because of that Dynastic Advisor's ability not being there. So if you take a noble as your HQ, you've effectively given 1 away, so you're only going to have 7. If you've got the Silent King, you're actually going to have 8. So I hope that has answered your question from the Discord. So if you've got any more questions, you guys know what to do by now. Jump in our Discord in the rules questions area, put your question in. Somebody within the Discord will help you out. And if it's good enough, we'll be putting it into a YouTube video. So guys, that is everything from today's video. All that is left to say, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.